All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a real classic, Spencer Johnson's brilliant little parable, Who Moved My Cheese? So, let me ask you something right off the bat. When your world gets completely turned upside down, unexpected, massive change, what's your gut reaction? Do you freeze up? Do you try to fight it? Or are you the type to immediately start looking for what's next? Well, believe it or not, a super simple story about four little characters looking for cheese in a maze holds some pretty profound answers to that exact question. It gives us a framework for how we can all get a little better at navigating the changes that are always happening in our jobs and, in our lives in general. Okay, so to really get what this story is all about, we've got to understand the world it's set in. Let's break down the basics. First things first, let's talk about the cheese. Now, this isn't just about a block of cheddar, right? The cheese is a metaphor for whatever it is you want out of life. We're talking a great job, a loving relationship, money, good health. Really, it's your personal idea of what happiness and success look like. And the maze? Well, that's where you're looking for your cheese. Think of it as your workplace, the industry you're in, your city, your family. Basically, it's the whole environment where the hunt for your cheese takes place. Okay, now here's where the story really gets its punch. It's all about these four characters. And what's brilliant is that they're meant to represent different parts of us, the simple, instinctual parts and the more complicated, emotional ones. So as we go through them, try to think, which one sounds most like you when change hits? So you've got two groups. First, there are the mice, Sniff and Scurry. Super simple, they just run on instinct. Then you have the little people, Hem and Haw. And these guys, they're us. They've got complex brains, they're full of emotions, beliefs, fears, the whole deal. They're not just looking for cheese, they're looking for cheese with a capital C, the stuff they think is the key to happiness. And this is where you can really start to see yourself, right? Each one has a totally different way of dealing with change. You've got Sniff, he's the one who smells change coming from a mile away. Scurry just goes. He scurries into action, no questions asked. Then there's Hem. He's the one who digs his heels in, denies it, resists it, convinced it's going to be awful. And finally, there's Haw. He's kind of our hero in this story because he starts out scared like Hem, but he's the one who learns how to adapt. So, the scene is set. All four of them find this amazing stash of cheese at a place called Cheese Station C. Life is great. They're happy, they're comfortable, maybe a little too comfortable. Because then, of course, the crisis hits. One morning, they show up to their spot, ready for their daily fix of cheese, and they find a huge, unexpected problem. It's just gone. Not a crumb left. Poof. Their reliable, everyday source of happiness and security has completely vanished. And really, it happened overnight, but only because they weren't paying attention to the signs. And this right here, this is the core of the whole story. The mice, Sniff and Scurry, they're not even surprised. Why? Because they noticed the cheese pile was getting smaller day by day. So what do? They just lace up their running shoes and they're off. Into the maze, looking for new cheese. Simple. But Hem and Haw? Oh, they are completely paralyzed. Just total shock, anger, and disbelief. Hem just yells out the title of the book, Who Moved My Cheese? And come on, haven't we all felt that? That it's not fair feeling? It just perfectly nails that sense of being a victim, of refusing to accept what's right in front of you. They're so busy trying to figure out who to blame, they're not even thinking about what to do. So while Hem just stays put, fuming and stuck, Haw starts to realize, they can't just sit here forever. And this is where his journey really begins. As he starts to move, he starts leaving these little nuggets of wisdom on the wall for Hem to find, and of course, for us to read. And this is a huge turning point in the story. Haw actually starts to laugh at himself. He laughs at how ridiculous and scared they've been. And he gets it. The real problem isn't that the cheese is gone. The real trap is his own fear. And that one single insight leads him to ask this absolutely game-changing question. So he writes it right there on the wall of the maze. And this question, it just reframes the entire situation. It stops being about danger and what they've lost, and it starts being about freedom and what's possible. It's literally the key that unlocks the door and lets him take that first step. And as soon as he starts moving, he figures something incredible out. All that fear he'd built up in his head about the big, scary, unknown maze, it was way, way worse than the reality of just being in it. In fact, just taking action, just moving forward, felt amazing. It was liberating. This next piece of wisdom nails a fundamental truth, right? Action creates opportunity. It's so simple. You're never, ever going to find a new solution if you're just standing still, complaining about how things used to be. And you can see how these ideas are building on each other. Haw realizes that he's so hung up on the memory of the old cheese that it's actually stopping him from finding new cheese. And who knows, maybe the new cheese is even better. He was basically mourning the past instead of getting busy creating a future. Now, this lesson is super direct, super actionable. The bottom line is, letting go is the first step. It's the most important step to finding something new. And I love how the story reframes it. It's not about loss. It's about making space for the next great thing. So eventually, Haw's journey, all that courage to face his fears and learn on the fly, it pays off big time. He finds Cheese Station N. And who's there? His old buddies, Sniff and Scurry, already enjoying a massive, fantastic pile of new cheese. And looking back on everything he went through, Haw sums it all up, right there on the wall. This is really the heart of the whole parable, the big takeaways for us. Change is going to happen. It's a constant. So we've got to anticipate it, adapt to it fast, and maybe, just maybe, learn to enjoy the adventure of it all. Because let's be real, we are definitely going to have to do this whole song and dance again. And that brings it all right back around to you, doesn't it? So what's your old cheese? What's that thing you're clinging to even though you know it's gone or it's not working anymore? And more importantly, what incredible new cheese might be out there just waiting for you if you can find the courage to take that first step into your maze?